Good morning. Or let's tell ourselves that it is. Callicles, you are doing just the same, Socrates. Then I am not acting rightly if I am so doing. Nor are you, but my good sir, consider whether pleasure so indiscriminate can after all be good. For if it is so, then the many shocking things we just now hinted at must evidently result, and many others too. So you think, Socrates. But do you really maintain this, Callicles? I do. Then we are to take up the argument in the belief that you are serious. Most assuredly. Well then, since that is agreed, resolve this point for me. Does something exist that you call knowledge? Yes. Did you not speak just now of a certain courage which must accomplish knowledge? I did. And you spoke of them as two things because courage is different from knowledge. Certainly. Again, are pleasure and knowledge the same thing or different? Different, I suppose, O paragon of wisdom. And courage is also different from pleasure, of course. Let us remember this then, that Callicles of Archaea says pleasure and the good are the same, but that knowledge and courage are different from each other and from the good. But Socrates of Alopes does not agree with this, or does he? He does not, and I think Callicles will not either when he comes to know himself aright. Tell me, do you not think that those who fare well experience the opposite of those who fare ill? I do. Then if these things are opposites, the same must hold true of them, as of health and sickness. A man cannot be both in health and sick at the same time, nor be rid of both conditions at the same time. But did Callicles actually say that they're opposites, or simply that they're different? How do you mean? Take, for example, any part of the body separately and consider it. A man perhaps has trouble with his eyes, which is called ophthalmia, of course. Then his eyes are not at the same time sound. By no means. And what of when he is rid of ophthalmia? Does he then get rid of the health of his eyes? And is he finally quit of both conditions? Certainly not. For that would be miraculous and irrational, would it not? Very much so. But I suppose he acquires and gets rid of each in turn. I agree. And is it not the same with strength and weakness? Yes. And swiftness and slowness? Certainly. And good things and happiness, and their opposites, evil and wretchedness. Does he possess and get rid of each of these in turn? Assuredly, I think. Then if we discover certain things which a man possesses and gets rid of simultaneously, it is obvious that these cannot be the good and the evil. Do we agree on this? Do not answer until you have considered it carefully. I am in most complete possible accord. Back then to our previous admission. Did you say hunger was pleasant or painful? Actual hunger, I mean. Painful, but to satisfy hunger by eating is pleasant. I understand. But hunger itself, at least, is painful, is it not? I agree. And thirst, too, most certainly. Am I to ask any further then, or do you admit that every deficiency and desire is painful? I admit you need not ask. Very well then, but to drink when thirsty you say is pleasant. I do. Now in this statement the word thirsty implies pain, I presume. Yes. And drinking is a satisfaction of the deficiency and a pleasure. Yes. Then you say that drinking there is pleasure. Certainly. When one is thirsty, I agree. That is, when in pain? Yes. Then do you realize the result that you say a man enjoys pleasure simultaneously with pain, when you say that he drinks when thirsty? No, the one follows the other. Does not this happen at the same time and the same place, whether in body or soul? For I fancy it makes no difference. Is this so or not? It is. Yes, but you say also that when one is faring well, it is impossible for him at the same time to fare ill. I do. But you have agreed it is possible to experience pleasure at the same time as pain. Apparently. Then pleasure is not the same as faring well, nor pain as faring ill. And so the pleasant is different from the good. I do not understand what your quibbles mean, Socrates. You understand, Callicles, but you are playing coy. But push on a little further, that you may realize how cunning you are, you who admonish me. Does not each one of us cease at the same time from thirsting and from this pleasure in drinking? I do not know what you mean. Do not behave so, Callicles, but answer for our sakes too, that the arguments may be concluded. But Socrates is always the same, Gorgias. He asks these trivial and useless questions and then refutes. These trivial and useless questions. I wonder why my mind switched them. What difference does that make to you? Gorgias says. In any case, you do not have to pay the price, Callicles, but suffer Socrates to cross-examine you as he will. Callicles. Well then, ask these petty little questions, since Gorgias so wishes. Socrates. You are lucky, Callicles, in having been initiated in the great mysteries before the little. I did not think it was permitted. Answer then from where you left off, where the thirst and the pleasure of drinking do not cease for each of us at the same time. I agree. And does not one cease from hunger and other desires and from pleasure at the same time? That is so. Does he not then cease from pains and pleasures at the same time? Yes. Yes. But he does not cease from experiencing the good and the ill simultaneously, as you yourself agreed. Do you not agree now? I do. What of it? Only this, that the good is not the same as the pleasant, my friend, nor the evil as the painful. For we cease from the one pair at the same time, but not from the other, because they are distinct. How then could the pleasant be the same as the good, or the painful as the evil? Let us look at it in a different way, if you like, for I think that even here you do not agree. But just consider. Do you not call good people by the name because of the presence in them of things good, just as you call beautiful those in whom beauty is present? I do. I suppose it's agathon And Carlos again. Plato is full of Agathon and Carlos. And Aletheia. Socrates. Again, do you call fools or cowards good men? You did not just now, but it was the brave and the wise. Or do you not call these good? Certainly I do. And have you ever seen a silly child enjoying pleasure? I have. And never seen a silly man enjoying pleasure? Yes, I suppose so, but what of it? Nothing, just answer. I have seen. And a sensible man experiencing pain or pleasure? I have. And which feels more pain or pleasure, the sensible or the fool? I do not think there is much difference. That is quite enough. And have you ever seen a coward in battle? Of course. Well, which of the two seemed more to rejoice when the enemy retreated? The cowards or the brave? Both equally, I think, or if not, pretty much so. It makes no difference. At least cowards too feel pleasure. Most certainly. And fools too, it appears. Yes. And is it cowards only or the brave too that feel pain at the enemy's approach? Both. To a like degree. Cowards perhaps more. And they rejoice more at the enemy's retreat. Perhaps. Then fools are and wise, cowards and brave feel pain and pleasure to a like degree, as you say, but the coward more so than the brave. I agree. But the wise and the brave are good, cowards and fools bad. Yes. Then the good and the bad feel pleasure and pain to a like degree. I agree. Now are the good and the bad, good and evil to a similar degree, or are the bad even better than the good? Good heavens, I do not understand what you mean. Oh. Do you not understand that according to you the good are good through the presence of the good things, and the bad of evil things, and that according to you pleasures are good things and pains evil? I do. Then good things, that is pleasures, are present to those who rejoice, if they rejoice, of course. And is it not through the presence of good things that those who rejoice are good? Yes. Again, evil things, namely pains, are present for those who suffer pain. They are present. And it is through the presence of evil things that you claim the evil are evil. Or do you no longer hold to that? I do. Then those who feel pleasure are good, those who feel pain bad. See, that's like... Of course not. But how on earth did he get us to agree to the fact that what he's now going to do? Certainly, those who feel pleasure are good, those who feel pain bad. Obviously not. But how did he get us to agree to that? More, less, or equally good or bad, according as they feel these things more, less, or equally. Yes. Now do you not say that the wise and the fool, the brave and the coward feel pleasure and pain to a like degree, or the coward even to a greater degree? I do. Then reckon up along with me what is the result of our admissions. For they say that it is good to repeat and examine twice and once again what is good. We say the wise and the brave man is good, do we not? Yes. Maybe I should leave the reckoning for another day.